All right, welcome back to DTM Beyond the Draft. I'm Eric, that's Christian, and the last time we talked to y'all, we were talking about Tiana's Bayou adventure, and the ride point of view video that Disney put out hadn't been released in its entirety yet. We had only seen some clips here and there, but now it's out. Christian, you saw it. I did not because I don't want it spoiled, but the reaction that came out from most of the public was yeah, well, they hated it because that's what people do now. They complain about everything. Some people liked it, but most people hated it because that's what we do nowadays. What was your reaction to seeing the video?
Yeah, I think it again, and I'm going to say the exact same thing I did the other day. The animatronics look amazing, but there is a lot of dead space or a lot of video screens, more video screens than I had initially caught on to. Uh, Video screens are everywhere in this thing, whether it be that background of that finale or even just like right before you're going up the big hill, there's just a video screen above you instead of having animatronic characters talking. And yeah, yeah, are there bird characters that they could have gone with Tiana's? No, so I'm kind of glad that they're gonna rethink things there, but you could have done something else. A lot of the big hate for this seems to be that there's no real villain. And, this is happening. This is another story. It's not a recreate of the movie, but Dr. Facilier, I think, would have helped a lot in the market of there needs to be some kind of antagonist. There needs to be some kind of pressure, not just, oh, we're going to a party. You know what's a great way to get to a party? Push you down a hill.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it needs an antagonist. Honestly, I mean, I know it's Disney and everybody says storytelling, but I mean, it is a flume ride after all. You know, there's going to be a drop. Do you need a build up? I think going up the lift hill might be enough. I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of the idea.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I mean, let me ask you this: do you think it's done? Do you think
Oh
they're
yeah.
done with it?
Oh, 100%. 100% I think they're done. It does I don't think they'd be I don't think there's places for them to add animatronics or add other elements. I think that the video wall that you go past right before the drop area or right before the build for the drop,
Mm-hmm.
they could add things to that, right? But it it's weird. It's weird, but it'll still be, like you said last week, at the heart of it, a drop ride. It's still going to be a flume ride that drops 6 stories, whatever their official number is on it. Like, it's still going to be that.
You
There's still
you
going to be the rush,
you know it's coming. This isn't like you're going along flat and then, oh my god, there's a drop. Like you're
Yeah,
going up a giant lift hill.
yeah,
You know it's there.
yeah.
Does it really need a build up with a villain and all that?
Yes,
No,
yes.
no.
I don't know.
It doesn't need it. Look, if it was there, I'm not going to say, "Oh my god, why'd you put this here?"
Yeah.
I don't think it needs it. Is
I
what
mean,
I'm saying.
if they did that, everybody would be complaining about it being the exact same thing as Splash
Mm-hmm.
Mountain, just with different characters.
Yep,
So, you know,
you can't win. This is, in the year of our Lord 2024, you can't win. It
no,
doesn't matter what they were going to do. People were going to complain about it.
yeah, always,
That's
no matter
just
what.
yeah, that's just where we sit nowadays. Anyway, we're not going to get too deep into that one because I think the video will speak for itself depending on who you are and how you feel about it. I mean, like I said, nowadays, whatever you thought before the ride video came out, it didn't matter what was shown in that video to you. You're going to have your opinion. It's going to stay that way.
Oh yeah,
Nothing. I've seen maybe 3 or 4 people say, you know what, I was wrong about this. Everybody else, it didn't matter. They
yeah.
were going to be either mad about it or they were going to love it. Either way, it was going to stay that way. I'm not going to reserve judgment, or I'm sorry, I am going to reserve judgment until I actually ride it because I don't know yet. It's just a video.
Well, and I will say, we've only seen Disney Worlds.
Right.
Di-
Yeah.
Disneyland's, there will be some differences. Now, is it going to be a huge difference? I would say probably not, but
Right.
there are going to be some differences. So it'll be interesting to see. But like the one where like you're about to go up the first kind of big hill to get into the building area.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a wall with like the ingredients to make gumbo, which was her thing. Like I get
Right.
it, but it felt like dead space that's just maybe hiding the walkway for cast members when they need to do checks and obviously evacuations and all that kind of stuff. But there's just some things, and there's the other thing that I've heard. I don't know if I haven't confirmed it, That there's no like splash that happens. Like there's no splash feature when a log goes down. The cannons don't shoot up like they did for Splash
Mm,
Mountain. And again, you know what it is already, but was there a draw to that that maybe they miss out on? I don't know. Do they think it wasn't needed? I don't think it's necessarily needed, but there was something to, the fake effect to make it look like that was all from that log
right.
that shot that water up. So, I don't know. It's
I,
interesting.
I'm with you on that. I don't think it was needed
Yeah,
because it's not for people who are not on the attraction. It's for people on the attraction. And did you
sure.
notice that when you were on it? No, you
No, no,
never saw
never.
that.
Yeah.
You were worried about that wall coming up at
Yeah.
you, a wall of water.
Yeah. Oh
uh,
boy.
Most of people's dread on that ride is whether or not they were going to sit in the front seat. Remember that? I
Oh,
mean,
the
I'm sure we'll get
best.
that back.
It was the best.
Do I want to sit in the front? Do I want to? I always got shoved in the back because it's me.
Yeah.
Everyone's like,
Sometimes
"Oh, I'll be able to see anything."
sometimes the back would get you though. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
and it depends. There is an element of that attraction that depends on the weight of the attraction or
right.
of the log. And boy,
Mhm.
sometimes something would come around and just drench you in the back. So
Yeah,
like
you're
on
right.
Pirates, it's like on Pirates where like you're sitting in the third row and then somehow you come out soaked just because of the way it hit a wall and came back
Right.
like
Oh my
gross.
goodness. Well, that's Tiana's. If we get any more updates, we'll pass them along and we'll discuss them here. A little bit later on, we're going to read some of your replies to the question that was posed on Instagram about your hot Disney parks restaurant takes.
Or just
We
hot takes about Disney
or
parks.
apparently just hot takes about Disney parks, whether or not they were in restaurants. We got a couple interesting answers. We're going to talk about those a little bit later. Another thing that came out this week, which may seem small and didn't get a ton of attention, but I think to me is going to be a big topic of how do I put this? Like you put in something permanent that you're probably going to have to remove soon, and by soon I mean within the next 5 to 7 years. The new downtown Disney security checkpoint over on the west side, as they call it. It looks cool. I know a lot of people complained it looked bland, but I mean that's the modern aesthetic they're going for. But everything is cemented into the ground over there, Christian. And I don't know if you've heard, but there's this Disneyland Forward project coming, and I don't. Is that entrance going to even remain?
I think it does. And so just hold on that point. We'll put a pin on that. First off, it looks beautiful.
I think
It
it looks great.
it looks fantastic. And for
Yeah.
an area that let's be honest, and you know full well, ESPN Zone closed and Rainforest Cafe closed and Earl of Sandwich and AMC and all of those things. And
Mhm.
then we're not building a hotel there, then we're not doing this and that, and it's cascaded to a point where that side of downtown Disney has been awful. It's
Mhm.
been awful, and I know they're using the old ESPN Zone building for internal stuff, and Rainforest Cafe they're still passing along as a Star Wars thing. They finally bulldozed AMC and that entire building, and they opened that stage area, but gosh, it felt like for 15 years, and I know it wasn't 15 years, but it felt like 15 years. You just walk over there and be like, this is just a bunch of dead space. And so it's nice that they're finally getting that. But yes, this whole Disneyland Forward thing seem like that's all going to be a theme park area. But I actually thought about this because I was like, that looks very permanent. That looks very
It looks very permanent.
thought out. If you
Yeah.
look at the Disneyland Forward art concept, which, as always, that was just let's make it look pretty. This is
Right.
not going to be the actual layout. It does look like there is a structure back there that could be the downtown Disney parking area that sneaks you along the back of what I would assume would be Disney California Adventure. I
Mhm.
don't think they're going to add a third theme park and wedge it in between the Disneyland Hotel and downtown Disney like they originally kind of teased. That's not happening. That'd be the dumbest theme park
Yeah.
layout ever. If
Yeah.
you want more on that, go check out our buddy Mark Bricky's YouTube channel. Hey Bricky, he goes through all of that, and he's like, "This would be the dumbest thing ever if they tried to wedge a theme park in here." So I do think it's going to be an extension of Disney California Adventure, extension of Disneyland, and then you'll still have that downtown Disney area. But it does look like there might be a parking structure back there that could then be maybe hotel parking
Right.
also. You know,
I'm sure a couple of those levels would need to be, depending on how many levels it would end up being.
but even still, like you come around because it is very much an entrance from the Simba parking lot look,
Mm,
not an entrance from Disneyland Hotel. Do they
right.
completely close off that original Disneyland Hotel walkway? Are they making anyone who's at Disneyland come through that far end? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but it looks great. They've even added restrooms. We love when there's new bathrooms at the resort. God bless you guys. I think it looks nice. I think it looks nice. I think it looks great. And I do think that, sure, I mean, for the next 10 years, you need an entrance, right? And so let's say
Right.
that this whole thing doesn't start for 10 years. Does it look like they put too much money into it? Maybe not. A lot of those pieces could be,
Well,
you know,
and the old screening tents, right, that were right
terrible.
next to the ESPN Zone building, those have been there for a while, but those weren't terribly permanent either.
Well, yeah,
And look, they've already basically moved the entrance anyway. So
yeah, and I
they didn't
one
build an
thing
archway or anything that, said downtown Disney. It was just a
it's
bunch of
true.
tents and they put some permanent gates in. But
One thing I go back on, and this was a very big sigh of relief. Go back 10 years, maybe not even 10 years, when they started doing the downtown Disney kind of project and then the parking structure and the parking for downtown Disney. Now, I remember seeing it and was like, is this really your plan? Was this it? Because it looks terrible. Well, walking in from Simba, the Simba parking lot, which a lot of people don't know, is also where most cast members park if they work in Disney California Adventure or the downtown Disney district or even the Disneyland Hotel. You can park over there, I think. Still, it it's just a bad look in those temporary walls that they've put everywhere. And so I'm like, please tell me that this isn't the ultimate plan. And now when I see obviously Disney Forward coming out, but even an installation of a security checkpoint that is not a temporary thing that could just be picked up by a couple of forklifts, what a sigh of relief. It makes me think that, okay, maybe they are working to something bigger. Because for a while, and again, it goes into everything on that side of the park or on that side of the resort. It
yeah,
it it felt temporary. It felt temporary, but in a permanent way, and I didn't like that. You still go over to Disney's, over to the other side of the Esplanade. All of that security stuff still feels temporary, and
right.
it's gonna be because we do know they're gonna do something bigger, and Disneyland Forward's gonna kind of push. I would assume all security coming in on that side has to go through the new parking structure, whatever.
Yeah.
But that temporary look has been there for so long that it was starting to bug me. So this is a nice look in the right direction, I would say.
And we've seen, the plans for Simba lot have changed several times. I mean, they were supposed to put a parking structure there at
Mm-hmm.
one point, and that all changed. So who knows what's going to happen down the line? I also noticed that the old magnetometers are still being used for security screenings. They have not gone to the new ones yet.
Give us the new ones. It's so easy.
They're so great.
Disney World is
Oh,
so easy. Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Well, and I remember for when the magnetometers first came to the Disneyland Resort, I had heard, and I cannot confirm this, but I had heard they had worked with the city
Mm.
to try to get some on loan because they were going to install their own eventually. They just hadn't bought them yet. After 9/11 had happened, they wanted to put more screening around the resort. So Angel Stadium actually shipped over some of the magnetometers,
Mm-hmm.
the old ones, which are now gone. Disney's got their own now, but I the there's no reason for them to use what Angel Stadium's using right now.
No,
The ones where you just walk through. You don't got to take anything out of your
those are
pockets. It just
great. But overall, downtown Disney, I think it looks great. And I'm excited for the future. I will say, and I know you don't ever want to hear this. It's time to get rid of the rest of those old buildings and do whatever you're going to do next. And I don't, more about the ESPN Zone building and how it could be used for other things besides ESPN Zone because I don't see them ever pulling that. But like,
yeah. I
what?
mean, I used to work there, of course, and
Yeah.
now that it's gone, it's okay for me to talk about it. But the it needs to go. I mean, you say I don't want to hear that, but honestly, it's almost like a big like
Knife in
tease
the
to
heart.
everybody that it's just like, hey, look what's here, look what we had.
Yeah.
Guess what we're not doing with it. So yeah, it needs to go. I mean, I don't have any inside information on it or anything. I just just
Well,
my
and
thoughts on the matter that yeah, it's time for it to go, and we have a whole project called Disneyland Forward. It's time to move forward with
mhm,
that thing.
yeah.
That building needed upgrades anyway. Um, I don't know what's going on inside that building. I haven't been in there since not long after it closed.
Yeah.
But actually, I don't know what the date. What are we? We're recording this on June the 3rd. Yesterday, June the 2nd, was the 6-year anniversary of the closure of ESPN Zone. Um, it's been long enough.
Yeah.
It's been way overdue. It's either got to go or it needs to be redone.
Well,
And with the theme park stuff coming in, there's no reason to keep it around.
and with Rainforest Cafe's old building there,
Yeah,
and the amount of wasted space that is there, and I don't know what they're doing in the back of that building. Maybe they've got
yeah. I don't know.
operations going on in the back of that building. But I mean, you walk into the Star Wars part and it's just the old gift shop area, and even
Yeah,
less than that.
yeah.
And it's just such a waste of space. And if you look at the Disneyland Forward concept art, there's no monorail station there. So
No,
is that all part of that same bulldoze? Who knows? Again, that Disneyland Forward concept art can't really be taken for anything besides we want to do something here, because
and
there,
they've got to leave a monorail station there because
yeah.
people love that thing, and it
Mhm.
helps pressure from the main gate.
But does the monorail just become a Disneyland attraction, and do we use a Skyliner to get everywhere? We'll see. There is Skyliner terminology in the Disneyland Forward concept that Anaheim signed off on. So
Right. Well, and
bring it.
they've been talking about that stuff for decades on decades. I remember you remember the old rocket rods in the queue for that before it became Buzz Lightyear's Astro Blasters. They had a map in there of Anaheim, like a futuristic map that had the monorail line on there that tied together
Mm,
Honda Center, Angel Stadium, the Platinum Triangle as it's called, to the resort. And I know that was before the Arctic station was built, but um, they're always thinking about ways to get people around that city, and to get them from the other hotels. I know Disney doesn't want people to stay off property, as it were, but to be honest, there's just not enough hotel
yeah,
rooms, and you still want to get people over here in the meantime, and that's probably the most efficient way to do it. Do a Skyliner, do a monorail, do something, but get them from there to here. That's what they're trying to do.
absolutely. And boy, it would be great to have Anaheim connected like that. I don't think it ever will, especially with certain baseball team owners not giving a rat's behind about the city. But that's just
Well,
me.
not only that, but too, that OC Vibe that's being
It's
built over there
huge.
by Honda Center is a massive project that's going to be undertaken. That's already underway.
I was so happy when I saw a crane go up. I was like, they're
Yeah,
doing it. They're
yeah.
actually going to build something.
I was driving down the 57 a couple of weeks ago, and I saw that crane up over there by Honda Center, and went, oh,
Oh,
things are happening.
only 10 more years till this is done. But regardless, I think Anaheim growth is pivotal for Disney because you are going to need more hotel rooms. And when you make the theme parks bigger, you're going to need more hotel rooms to
Mm-hmm.
put people in. And I mean, I've been in the city and I've worked in the city, not only just for Disney, but for other companies as well, where it's not just Disney that brings people, right? Anaheim Convention Center has huge conventions where
Yeah.
all of the city is full.
Yeah.
And so when you're adding more capacity, when you're adding more reason for events like that to be around, you're going to need more. So Disney needs to play nice with all the fellow hotels, the good neighbors. But also, I think I think that everybody's thinking about theme park and shopping center. I would not be surprised if Disney's building another hotel in this area.
And I think it's going to go over there on the Toy Story lot with
Yeah,
that whole quote unquote downtown Disney expansion thing. I think
yeah.
they'll put another hotel there, but I think we're at the point too now, if we're talking about the city, that I think bridges need to start going up at the corner of Harbor and Catella. You
Oh,
see how
absolutely.
much foot traffic is over there. How do we get these people off the streets, right? Crossing the streets. There's a lot of traffic there. I know, there's a bridge associated with the Eastern Gateway, as it was called once upon a time, project where the new structure is going to go for Disneyland. But they need more bridges. Get those people off the streets, A, for their safety, and B, to just keep things moving around
Yeah.
there.
Well,
Because, like you said, once you expand these theme parks, the population is just going to expand exponentially.
We're gonna have to get Mark Bricky on this show, and I'll reach out to him because he's gone through everything. And by the way, if you don't know who Mark Bricky is, go back listen to episode 27 of Drafting the Magic, where he did a great job about ride vehicles and absolutely called us out for missing out on probably one of the best ride vehicles. And ever since he said it, you and I have been thinking about it. But regardless, there are 3 approved bridges in that plan.
Mm-hmm.
So where does that go from now? And as Mark's kind of explored, does Disney finally or I guess bite the bullet and purchase Garden Walk and build a bridge across Disney Way and across Catella to this new location, connect your resort? There's just so many ways that this big project can go. This is going to be really interesting. This is going to be fun to watch. My only problem, as we mentioned it, Eric, this is going to take forever.
It's gonna take a long time.
I want to see this all happen now.
I know, and with obviously it's the biggest project they've done since probably building Disneyland or building California Adventure. So I'm excited to see. It's going to probably take, and it's probably going to take 15 years at least. I know they said 10.
Oh yeah. No,
but
this is
plans are going to change, and how many laws are going to change in the state between now and then that you have to change the way you build things, or certain environmental aspects that are going to have to be adjusted, that are going to have to be taken in consideration between now and then. There's just so many variables that are going to pop up between now and then that we don't know what it's going to look like. I mean, you don't know which Marvel actor is going to get fired between now and then. Is that going to change that plan?
Yeah, he did ask that question on Drafting the Magic's Instagram of what are your hot takes about the restaurants? And I've got Cole S. Heron said the Disneyland corn dogs aren't as good as they used to be. Do you have any thoughts on that, Eric?
Now, here's the deal. I don't like corn dogs. I'm not a big corn dog
interesting
fan.
I didn't know
that. I know. I know. And it's tough because I don't want to give away too much here. But just know that I'm probably never going to draft a corn dog on any of our food episodes.
Good to know.
With that being said, the only corn dog I will ever eat is in Disneyland. So take that for what it is. I like it. Not as good as it used to be. I don't know the ingredients. I don't know if they change hot dogs. I don't know what they do. But I've always liked it, and I've probably had 3 in my entire life.
That's fair.
There.
All right. Yeah. Well, I would agree the breading's getting a little much. Like sometimes you put too much breading and it's cakey, but we're going easily the furthest south this show has ever gone. Easily. Australian Disney Adventure chimed in on Instagram, said Blue Bayou, everybody's favorite restaurant at Disneyland. Blue Bayou is gross. Eating next to the brommy water ruins the food. Taste/smell. She even gave the barfing emoji. What do you think of that, Eric? I've never been to Blue Bayou, so I don't have that experience. I don't know if you have.
That's bromine water, by the way, there, pal. That's an element on the periodic table. In case you're wondering. It's a chemical that's in the water that makes it like that.
Catch me in the comments.
Yeah, we got you. That's an interesting point. I don't think I've ever heard anybody bring that up, and it might be one of the whitest elephants in the room. It's true. You're near that water and you can smell it, right? They sell candles that smell like the pirate's water.
I still want to take a red Solo cup once and just I want to taste it. No, I'm kidding. That sounds disgusting. I'm curious. I'm very curious.
Never hear from you again. But yeah, when you're sitting next to that water and you're smelling that and you're trying to eat, it's gonna mess with your palate quite a bit. I never heard anybody actually vocalize that take before. That's a pretty good one. I didn't sit near the water either time I've eaten in Blue Bayou, which has only been a couple of times. And I whether or not how close you are to the water, who knows how much it affects the smell of the water, but I don't remember that. I don't remember it affecting my meal at all. Maybe if you do sit right on the edge of the water, it does. But that's an interesting point. I might have to ask for an oceanfront table next time, or a riverside table.
Apparently you shouldn't.
Maybe. Well, we got to do research for the people, Christian.
Yeah, we do. We also had somebody else bold as love 1987. a friend of the show. I'll sum it up. Blue Bayou is overrated. So
Yeah, I've heard that a lot from people over the years. Um, I liked it both times I was there. Blue Bayou is a place for the ambiance and to say you ate at Blue Bayou,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
The food is good though. I mean, I enjoyed it. Are there better options for food on the resort? Yes, but maybe that's why people think it's overrated. Maybe in comparison, because
Sure.
it's supposed to be the crown jewel, and maybe there's other places like I like Carthay Circle better. I
I
think
love Carthay Circle.
yeah. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why it's overrated. I don't know.
Last few food review from Kevin. Plaza Inn chicken is good, but overhyped.
No. See, now you've lost me.
I knew you were going to say no.
Now you've lost me. Come on. If I ever, and I won't, but if I ever get convicted of a capital offense,
final meal?
yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know about that. But we also got one hot take that was just because about hot from Susan underscore, not underslash. Yikes. Suze_Susie. Animal Kingdom is hotter than any other Walt Disney World park.
That's fact.
It's like Cars Land and Toontown being hottest spots on the Disneyland resort property. It's just there are facts in the world you have to accept, and Animal Kingdom absolutely. I mean, it has to do with all the plant life and the humidity that it adds, but Florida's already humid.
And Disney has said they make Animal Kingdom hotter on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to feel like you're in the jungle.
Yeah,
so
it's the dome. It's just that section of the dome that
it's under a magnifying glass, apparently.
Yeah, it feels like it sometimes. Oh my gosh.
But miss me with that fried chicken take, man. Are you kidding me? Come on.
We'll have to give Kevin's gonna have some things to say about
Are you ready? Are you ready for this?
I'm ready for this.
And now this is probably more for Southern California people who know the area a little bit better, but the chicken at Plaza Inn is better than the chicken at Mrs. Knott's restaurant.
Ooh, that is a hot take for SoCal folks. Yeah. That's for sure. Here's a hot take. Here's a hot take.
They've changed it at Knott's though, so that's it tastes different now. But Plaza Inn is better than Mrs. Knott's, and I will not back down from that hill.
Here's a hot take that I've said before, I think on the show, back when we did the fried foods. The fried chicken dinner at Grand Floridian Cafe is better than the one at Plaza Inn. That's what I'm leaving this on. It is so good. If you haven't been, run, don't walk. Get there as fast as you can. Holy.
Yeah, I can't argue with you on that one because I don't know.
You haven't done it.
Had it. Yeah.
We're going to get you out to Florida one of these days. We got to. Because we're running out of things to draft around here. I'm going to take Tron. I'm going to take Guardians. I'm going to take Ratatouille. I'm going to take all these restaurants that have opened up. Half of Disney Springs, I feel like, wasn't open the last time you were there, Eric. Yeah. We got to get you back to Walt Disney World.
You do what you need to. It hasn't terribly helped you in the past.
You're not wrong.
I'll get to those things eventually, one day.
Hey,
need all the new stuff to open up here in downtown Disney soon.
That's true. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to go to Centrico and all these other places. It's gonna be good. But hey, like the pod, like Instagram. I don't know. Go on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X. Sorry, YouTube. Subscribe, like, follow wherever it might be. Find Apple Podcasts or find Drafting the Magic on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever it is. And make sure that you are giving us the love that we deserve. 5 stars or nothing. 5 stars or don't review. Just kidding. But review, we'll read it. Yeah, we'll read it. Sometimes that's going to be harder than others.
That'll be good. And don't forget to follow each of us too on the social media channels. I'm at Erik Pessolano and he's at Christian_Ilten on all the social medias. So go ahead and go find us on there and give us your takes. And SpeakPipe. I forgot. Oh, don't forget SpeakPipe. That's right.
SpeakPipe.com/draftingthemagic. Leave us a voicemail. You might just hear it on the show. Eric, until next time, been a heck of a conversation about the latest in the Disney world on this Beyond the Draft episode.
We'll see you next time, everybody.